Welcome, dear listeners. You've tuned in on Sinister Radio. Tonight, I will tell a story about the happy man. But don't let the name fool you. This is not the kind of happiness you'd welcome into your home. Now, settle in, because the story I'm about to share will make you question the innocence of a smile. Are you ready to hear about a smile you'll never forget? Then dim the lights, settle in, and let the darkness in. When 8-year-old Tommy saw the happy man for the first time, it was on a rainy and cold night. While he laid tucked into his bed, a man-shaped figure was standing in his room, behind the door. He was tall, dressed in some kind of dark suit, and had a big smile that stretched from ear to ear, impossibly wide, and filled with too many teeth. The happy man's eyes never blinked once. He just stood there, smiling and looking at Tommy. In a split second the happy man stood by the side at his bed. As Tommy was about to scream, the man in Tommy's room raised his long, bony finger to Tommy's lips as he was saying, "Shush, don't be scared." He smiled from ear to ear, leaned in and whispered, "I'm your friend." Tommy wanted a friend for so long after he and his parents moved into the new house. Late at night, the happy man would visit Tommy, wake him up and tell him bedtime stories, tales of dark forests, silent lakes, and secret places where only special friends could go. Tommy felt so happy he now had someone he could call his friend. A friend who would never lie to him, never upset him, only make him feel happy. One night after telling Tommy a story about the silence in the forest at night, with his big happy smile, the happy man said, "Let's play hide and seek. You hide. I seek. But remember, don't make any noise, or else your parents will ruin our happy time." Tommy smiled and shook his head. Tommy's parents started to notice his face was getting paler and paler, and his eyes darker and darker. His small body was growing weaker, as if something was slowly draining the life out of him. They asked him if he was feeling sick, but Tommy just smiled. He didn't want to tell them about the happy man, his special friend with the big smile, who came each night to tell him bedtime stories and play hide and seek. Night after night, the happy man appeared, always waiting in the corner of Tommy's room, smiling. Sometimes when Tommy was asleep, he moved closer, bending down until his face was few inches from Tommy's. One night, Tommy's mom peeked into his room. She saw the shadow of a man standing near Tommy's bed. He was looking at Tommy while smiling. The happy man looked right at her with his empty eyes and big smile. Tommy's mom screamed and turned on the lights. But there was no one there. No man or no trace of him. She looked at Tommy and her blood ran cold. Tommy was laying in his bed with his eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, and with a smile on his face. His mom ran towards him and held him in her arms and started to sing a lullaby he loved when he was a baby. His eyes began to blink again, then slowly closing, and then he fell asleep. Tommy's mom told his dad about the smiling man in Tommy's room, and they decided to take turns staying with him through the following nights. When Tommy's parents were asleep next to him, he would lay awake, waiting for the happy man to visit again. 2 nights later, when Tommy's dad fell asleep beside him, Tommy sat up in bed and turned toward the corner of the room. And there he was, the happy man. His smile was wider than ever. "Tommy, do you want to be my friend forever? Then take my hand." He reached out, allowing the cold, sharp fingers to close around his small hand. As soon as their hands touched, the happy man's smile twisted, stretching and stretching until it was an empty void. His eyes gleamed with a terrible hunger as he pulled Tommy closer. The boy's body grew limp, his eyes vacant. In that moment, Tommy's father woke up. He looked around the room, and there was Tommy, standing in the darkness. Tommy's eyes were wide open, his face frozen in a smile that mimicked the happy man's. Too big and too vacant. His dad tried to shake him, to wake him, but Tommy wouldn't move. He just sat there, staring at him with an unblinking gaze, his smile stretching impossibly wide. The room grew colder and colder as Tommy's dad got the feeling of a shadow creep over them. Something dark and sinister that had come to stay. Tommy, or what was left of him, never spoke again, only sat smiling that big, empty smile, as if he had finally found his happy place in the shadows with his special friend forever. And that concludes tonight's descent into the darkness. Thank you for listening tonight. Even as we end tonight's story, countless others are lurking in the shadows, waiting to be told. So join us again, if you dare, when we return with more stories of the unknown. Until then, sleep tight and sweet dreams. And try not to let the darkness creep in. We'll be waiting for you till next time, right here on Sinister Radio.